News now on AFRICUNIA TV for August 17th, 2021. I'm Deborah Eze. Thanks for joining me. On the Nigerian scene, the federal government may soon end the fuel subsidy regime with the signing of the Petroleum Industry Bill by the President Muhammadu Buhari on Monday. It was gathered that the government's position of fuel subsidy would form the major item during the Minister of State for Petroleum Resources, Chief Timper Silva's press conference on the Petroleum Industry Law, which was held today. It was gathered that with the signing of the PIB into law, the cost of petrol could jump to as high as 300 naira per litre from the current 162 to 165 naira per litre upon implementation of the law if market forces were allowed to determine the price as stipulated in the new law. It was learnt that another issue that the minister would address was the unbundling of the Nigerian National Petroleum Corporation. The special advisor to the president on media and publicity, Femi Adesina, in a statement on Monday, disclosed that Buhari had signed the PIB. The statement was tied to President Buhari signs Petroleum Industry Bill into law, working from home for the 5-day quarantine as stipulated by the President's Steering Committee on COVID-19 after returning from London on Friday, August 13th. The President assented to the bill. And in more stories, as Nigerian commenced rollout of the Phase 2 of vaccination program with 4,080,000 Moderna vaccine donated by United States of America, the World Health Organization yesterday alerted of the falsified COVID-19 coronavirus vaccine in circulation. The falsified products were reported to WHO in July and August. The genuine manufacturer of the COVID-19 confirmed that the falsified products were first reported at the patient level in Uganda and India. According to a statement by WHO, falsified COVID-19 vaccines pose a serious risk to global public health and place additional burden on vulnerable population and health systems. The United Nations Apex Health Body said it is important to detect and remove this falsified product from circulation to prevent harm to patients. WHO also called for increased vigilance within the supply chain of countries and regions likely to be affected by this falsified product. It's noted increased vigilance should include hospitals, clinics, health centers, wholesalers, distributors, pharmacies, and any other suppliers of medical products. All medical products must be obtained from authorized and licensed suppliers. And on the African scene, Japan's foreign minister on Monday met with his Egyptian counterpart in Cairo, Toshimitsu Motegi, and his delegation discussed with Egyptian officials ways of strengthening bilateral relations, as well as exchanging visions on the most prominent regional issues of common concerns. According to a statement by the Egyptian Foreign Ministry, we shared our concern about the current situation in Afghanistan and agreed to cooperate with Egypt, which has an influence on the Islamic world, so that these issues does not become a factor of further turmoil, Motegi said in a joint press conference with Foreign Minister Sameh Shoukry. The two countries during the meeting agreed on the need to reach political solution to the crisis in the region. They affirmed the need to continue consultation and coordination between the two sides in the different international forums, especially in terms of joint efforts to prepare for the upcoming Tokyo International Conference on African Development set to be held in Tunisia next year. The Egyptian President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi, in an earlier meeting, asked that his greetings be conveyed to Japanese Prime Minister Yoshihide Suga. And on the international scene, military flights evacuating diplomats and civilians from Afghanistan resumed earlier today after the runway at Kabul airport was cleared of thousands of people desperate to flee after the Taliban seized the capital. The number of civilians at the airports are thinned out, in which the U.S. troops fired to disperse crowd and people clung to a U.S. military transport plane as it taxied for takeoff. U.S. forces took charge of the airports, their only way to fly out of the country, on Sunday, as the militants were winding up a dramatic week of advances across the country with their takeover of the capital without a fight. Meanwhile, the German military plane was waiting Tuesday for the U.S. to grant its permission to fly to Afghanistan to help with the evacuation of foreign nationals and local Afghan staffs. The defense minister said U.S. Charge d'Affaires Ross Wilson dismissed in a Twitter message what he called false reports that he had left the country, saying he and staffs remained and were helping thousands of U.S. citizens and Afghans in the country. In most stories, COVID-19 is set to rise substantially in Sydney in the coming week, despite a prolonged lockdown, authorities said on Tuesday, warning soaring infections have already put hospitals under and more strain. Australia, once a world leader in curtailing COVID-19, is struggling to suppress a third wave of infection driven by the highly infectious Delta variant, despite locking down more than half of its population. New South Wales State, whose capital Sydney is the epicenter of the latest outbreak, reported 452 cases in the past 24 hours, the third biggest one-day jump and one new death. Sydney has already toughened restrictions, including setting up roadblocks in parts of the city, and has eyed fines amid reports of people flouting strict stay-at-home orders. Economists fear the lockdown may drive the country to $2 trillion economy into a second recession in many years. And in sports, we look at the cricket scene, where Joe Root took the blame for England's defeat to India in the second test at Lord's, saying he got things wrong tactically as the side slipped 1-0 down in the 5-match series. England appeared strong favourites to win when Oli Robinson dismissed the dangerous Rishbhar Pant and tally-ender Ishant Sharma early on day 5 to leave India 209-8 and just 182 runs ahead. However, India's number 9 and 10 Mohammad Shami and Jasprit Bumrah then cracked an unbroken 9th wicket stand of 89 as England preserved with short deliveries and spreading the field. And that's all we can take on news now. For more news updates, do stay tuned to all our social media platforms on Join Team and Program. Also visit our website at AFRICUNIA TV. Subscribe to our YouTube channel, like and leave a comment on the comment section. I'm Deborah Eze. Many thanks for watching.